Welcome back to the People in Progress podcast, where we talk all things self-improvement, lifestyle, and how to live your best life. I am your host, Elsa, and today's episode is all about winter wellness. And I want to start off by saying I'm sorry if my voice sounds croaky. I've been doing a big filming day today, and my voice really hurts. But we're going to be talking all about the tips to live your best life this winter, to take care of yourself and make sure you're still having the best time ever, and living life in a way that makes you feel great. We're going to talk about the concepts of seasonal living, we're going to talk about wintering, and we're going to look at those because it's important to recognize how winter wellness might be slightly different to wellness around the rest of the year. Okay, so let's get into the segments for today's episode. I'm so excited because we haven't done segments in so long. I'm going to talk about that in my life update, but starting off with what is progressing my life. I think it's got to be cooking. I've been trying out a lot of fun new foods recently, and especially after Christmas, where we were eating out a lot or eating a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally eat because we had people over and, we're doing all the holiday foods. It's really nice to get back into cooking exactly what I want, trying out a bunch of new fun foods. There's been a lot of cool recipes coming out because it's been Veganuary and I'm vegetarian, so that's really nice. I'm just cooking food that makes me feel great. But what is holding me back? I think it has to be the lack of sun. I'm looking outside right now because it is 26 past 5 p.m. in the evening and it has just gone pitch black, and it's not the shorter days. I don't mind the shorter days, I'm used to it. I actually kind of like it being like nice and dark and cozy at night, or in the evenings at least. However, during the days it has been really cloudy. We are not getting those, bright bluebird clear winter days, which I love. I'm a winter girl. It's not the fact of the season, it's the fact that it has been cloudy and I just haven't seen the sun in a long time, and I've been in a bit of a slump, and I think that's partially the reason why. So what I've been doing is, when the sun does come out, I've been really making the most of it. I've been making sure to go outside, whether that's on a walk, or the other day I just took a chair out and sat out there and had a cup of tea. Despite there being 20 centimeters of snow frozen into the ground, I'm just making most of the sun when I see it. But my life update, let's get into that. Like I said, it has been far too long since we caught up. I've been doing my New Year's mini series in January on the podcast, and so obviously I have been back, but we haven't been doing the segments, so I haven't spoken to you about just life updates and stuff like that in so long. I have not recorded a life update since November. Obviously we had Christmas, we had New Year's, I've been skiing, traveling, we had people visiting, just getting back into it for 2024. It's been crazy, it's been a lot. The end of the year was what am I even saying? It was a big one. It was rough, it was good, it was whatever. But I've just been loving getting back into routine, and I've been doing a lot of reflection at the end of the year, well, the beginning of the year more like, and just using January as a reset month and a setup month. I haven't been getting straight into things straight away. That is what February is for. January has been reflection, setting up, planning, and I really think that's what it should be. I've been loving it. But obviously, if you guys do listen to the podcast and you don't follow me on other platforms like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, particularly I've been really active on TikTok lately, and I've also got some really cool vlogs coming up on YouTube. But if you want to see more of me, follow me on there, and that will help you keep up to date when we're not doing live updates on the podcast. Okay, and for my current read, if you are watching on YouTube or Spotify video, whichever one you guys watch on, you'll see that I have a massive pile of books next to me because I've been filming some reading videos today all about books and stuff like that. Very exciting stuff coming on the YouTube channel. I'm currently reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm about to finish it. I'm liking it. It's not 5 stars. I think it's going to be 4 stars. But it's kind of hard. It's interesting. I haven't gone into a book with this much hype for such a long time. I have been really enjoying it. It's a good fun read, but I also haven't been reading a lot. I've been reading maybe 1 or 2 chapters a night, so I've been getting through it pretty slowly, but the rest of January has been a really good reading month. So yeah, I've been reading Fourth Wing. But let's get into the main body of this episode, because I see that my camera is now blinking on low battery, which is just lovely. But let's talk about what wintering is. Wintering is basically a concept, and I know it's been spoken about, particularly there's this book that's quite famous about retreating during difficult times, and like I said, there's a whole book about that, and that is really important and also related to the concept of wintering in the way I'm talking about it. But I particularly wanted to talk about wintering in the concept of winter, living seasonally. Yeah, in terms of being in alignment with nature and the world around us. Winter is a season of slowing down, and so wintering refers to how we should slow down and embrace rest during the winter season. So So obviously this is related to mental health stuff like trauma, but also just the time of the year. But what is seasonal living as well? I just want to clarify this. It is paying attention to the nature and the world around you and living in sync and in alignment with the changes in the seasons. So let's get into talking about tips for winter wellness and living life in a way that makes you feel great in the winter. And also take note that all of these things are related to wintering and seasonal living. They are going to be different to tips that I might talk about in summer wellness or general wellness. So yeah, starting off, vitamin D. We get vitamin D from sun exposure, and obviously I spoke about sun exposure earlier, but we also get it from foods. And in winter we're seeing a lot less of the sun, sadly. I love winter, but I do miss the sun. So it is important for us to prioritize this in our diet and in supplements. It is really important for bone health, and particularly for me, I love it for mood regulation as well as other things. So I personally like to take a supplement, but there are also foods that are really good for vitamin D in your diet. I'm vegetarian, so I've listed some vegetarian options, but I believe some meats, like I think it's fish, is also good for it. But eggs is a really, really good one. Also some types of mushrooms and some types of cheeses. So they're really good to keep vitamin D up in your diet, but I cannot recommend enough taking a supplement because it can be hard to get enough of it in your diet without seeing the sun. There are also lots of fortified beverages, whether that's like an orange juice or like an oat milk, where they add in vitamin D and other vitamins, which are really good as well. But it is really important to prioritize that, and it will help with your wellness regime in the winter so much. But also, like I said, make the most of it and make sure you are still getting outside. It isn't easy, but take note of how it feels when you do get outside. Even a short walk or spending some time in the fleeting winter sun can really make the difference. And I have been inside all of today, and it is pitch black outside. I still think I might go stand outside for a bit just to feel something because it improves my mood so much. I spoke about this in my tips and tricks for the New Year episode, which is episode 20 and also the last episode of my New Year's mini series. And I hope you guys enjoyed that if you did watch it. That was so much fun to do. But getting outside is a bit of a personal reset hack for me, and it just improves my mood and resets my brain so much, which I definitely need today. Today has been a long day with lots of stuff happening, which who knows, if I can, I might talk about in the next couple of weeks, but it's been crazy. But like I mentioned, the sun is great for vitamin D, and being outside and in nature can also help you feel more grounded, which is one of the reasons I think it's a bit of a personal reset hack for me. It makes you feel more connected and in tune with the world. Something else that's really important to consider for winter wellness is taking care of your skin and your hair. So in terms of hair care, I really want to learn more about hair care this year, but I do love the products I already use, so I want to talk about some. Because also, if I do say so myself, obviously my hair's tied up in this video if you are watching the video version of this podcast, but I think I do have quite long, healthy hair. So I want to talk about some of the products I use, but I do think it does start at diet, particularly with hair. But I just prioritize moisture and heat protectant. I need to buy a new heat protectant, but I tend to just use literally any, because any is better than nothing. And in terms of moisture, I'll talk about a mask I've been using later, but I love Coco and Eve and their stuff. And I've also been using the Native shampoo and conditioner, which I love. As for skin, I've spoken about this so many times in my winter themed episodes. You need to prioritize moisture. So hand cream, lip balm, they are so important and underrated. And okay, I said I was going to talk about this mask later because this is related to skin and hair. I saw flaxseed masks going kind of viral on TikTok, so I tried it out, and it is a mask that you can put on both your hair and your skin, and I've used it twice so far. I've been trying it out. It's also really easy to make yourself at home, and I've been really liking that for moisture. Another thing that's important for your winter wellness is hydration, and this is also super related to skin and hair. And actually, I'm going to take a sip of water right now because I am so dehydrated. This is your reminder to also drink some water. I think we forget about it because in summer it's like hot, we get thirstier, and I think when it's cold we like forget that we're thirsty, if that makes sense. And if it's super cold like it is in Ottawa, don't forget that other things also hydrate you besides cold water, because I love water. There is nothing like fresh water. However, hot lemon water and also herbal teas can still be super hydrating. So if it's really cold where you live, finding a hot hydrating beverage can be super helpful. I think something else I'm prioritizing this winter is also journaling and reflecting inwards, and that has a lot of relation to do with living seasonally, because winter aligns with the New Year's season, so it's a perfect time for that. And also a lot of people just talk about like looking inwards and focusing on yourself during the season of rest during winter. Take time to focus on you. I'm definitely going to do this, and I've been filming this whole series on my channel about like living my dream life and stuff like that, and I'll talk all about that in there. But take some time to reflect. Ask yourself what you want life to be like this year, especially as it aligns with the New Year's season. What do you want to prioritize, and what do you actually care about? We've mentioned winter being a season of rest, and so prioritize rest and prioritize sleep. I spoke about this, I forget, might have been in my habits for the holidays video or something like that. People often feel quite fatigued during winter, and I think this is a lot to do with seeing less sun and the shorter days and stuff like that, but also because we try to keep going at our normal pace when it is a season of rest. The whole world is resting and we naturally feel more tired. So analyze your sleep habits and see what makes you wake up feeling better. For example, what can you do to make yourself feel more rested? Take note of what you're doing. Are you reading before bed, or are you on your phone? Are you going to bed at a certain time? Are you waking up at a certain time? Are you wearing, for example, long sleeve pajamas, short sleeve pajamas? For some of them, like for example, less blue light is like an obvious one, but for example me, I think I sleep better in short sleeve pajamas. So there are just things that personally you might need to analyze and see what makes you sleep better. But in general, going to bed at a more consistent time and being in a cozy dark room really help with sleep. Also, remember to enjoy all things winter while the season lasts, because I feel like after Christmas and after the holidays, people forget how fun winter is. I spoke all about this in my, I think it was Cozy Girl Guide to Winter episode, and if you like this one, you'll probably like that one. There is so much stuff to enjoy, and I'm going to list some of the things that I love about winter that sometimes I forget during the season, but when it's not winter, I miss them so much. So winter clothes and fashion, I adore it. Coats and jumpers and scarves, just the best. Fireplaces, just cozying up in cozy activities. Also winter activities, particularly like skiing and ski culture, I love it. There is so much to focus on and appreciate during this season. Because winter is a time to look more inwards, it is also a great time to focus on your hobbies. So pick some activities that align with you and that focus on you. Some things you really enjoy. This is also perfect for the longer nights and when it's really cold and maybe people are feeling a little bit less social, to do like solo date nights. And I actually think next week's episode is going to be all about like solo date nights and self-care activities. So I'm really excited for that. But when it's summer and when it gets busier, you might not have time to do these things. And don't forget that this is a perfect time to be creative and enjoy your hobbies. So I've personally been focusing a lot on writing, and I also want to try out crocheting for the first time. So yeah, that's how I'm getting into that. My next tip is to let winter be winter. Let yourself slow down. It is normal not to be going at full speed at this time of year. Let yourself relax and reset. Try to appreciate the things that are happening now. Try to live in the moment, and don't try to make winter be spring or summer or autumn or whatever it's not. Just let winter be winter. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is winter self-care activities. So some ideas for this are taking a hot bath, using a shower steamer if you don't have a bath. I got some of these for Christmas and they're so much fun. They're like bath bombs but for the shower. Making a luxurious warm drink. I love a hot chocolate, and I had a peppermint mocha this morning that was so fun. And after this, I'm definitely going to make a big cup of tea to soothe my throat. And yeah, like I said, next week's episode is going to be a Valentine's episode all about self-love, self-care and solo date night ideas. So if you want to know more winter wellness sort of self-care activities, do follow the podcast. Keep an eye out for next week's episode because I just planned it and I'm so excited. But I'm excited to be back to just our weekly catch-ups and weekly chats. And yeah, I hope you guys all had a great January, and I'm wishing you guys all a good February, and I hope to see you guys next week on Monday.